Sandy Shore here at the 53rd Annual Monterey Jazz Festival, Monterey, California, of course. We're with Kyle Eastwood and Brian Bromberg. And Kyle played last night at the festival, and full house, sounded fantastic. Always great to see you.
Good to see you.
Local homeboy, like I'm a local homegirl.
It is.
Yeah?
My hometown, yeah. Former hometown.
But not living here anymore.
No, I haven't for a long time, but I grew up here until I was about 18 or so. I moved down south.
And to Europe.
Yeah, been making my way eastward.
Very nice. Okay, well, I'm going to turn things over for a few minutes to Mr. Bromberg. They're going to talk bass. Do your thing, bass man.
I will do my thing, bass man. You guys sounded great.
Thanks.
It's nice to hear you guys.
You
sounded great.
That's a compliment coming from me.
Thank you, man. And it's really cool to see you play acoustic bass and electric bass, which is you know, what I try to instill in the young players is it's important to learn both, and it's really awesome to see you playing both on stage, which is fantastic. And you're playing fretless, you're playing fretted. It's great. You're doing a lot of things. You know, obviously you're the son of a very famous movie star. How did you get turned on to jazz? How did you get turned on to jazz?
Famous airplane in the Monterey Festival.
And but I know your dad's a huge jazz fan. Is that where you got your exposure to it? And then when did bass become a part of your life? How did that happen for you?
Well, actually, initially, I mean, I grew up hearing jazz a lot around the house. Both my parents that was kind of music and choice most of the time.
Right.
So that and the odd Johnny Cash record, but mostly jazz. You know, and I grew up just about 15 minutes away from where we're standing right now. So I think that some of the very first concerts I ever went to was right here in the 70s.
Sure.
My parents brought me here the first time, I think in 76 or 77, and I saw the York City Count Basie big band when of course Count Basie was still alive and playing in the band. I think I was about 8 or something, 8 or 9. And, yeah, so that's kind of how I got interested in wanting to learn how to play an instrument and interested in music initially.
Right. It's cool when you grow up. You know, my father was a drummer and played jazz, so I grew up in an environment where there was, you know, most of the music we listened to was jazz, or, you know, bands like Tower of Power and Cold Blood, stuff like that, where it was still more musical in the pop music side of things. But when it's around you, you know, it makes a big impression in your life, you know, which is very, very cool. But what turned you on to bass? How did you get started? You know, what turned you on to being a bass player?
Well, I think. I mean, initially the first things I learned on even the piano was stuff my dad showed me, and they were like the left-hand parts for these boogie woogie sort of tunes that he plays, and so that was initially the sort of first thing I played was bass, left-hand bass on the piano, and he would play the right hand. And then so I studied piano for a few years, and then I learned a little bit of guitar after that for a film that I did with him, and then from there I just I borrowed an electric bass from someone when I was about 13 or 14 or something like that, and just started kind of teaching myself, and it just kind of came naturally.
That's cool.
I stuck with it.
Do you find that the fact that you played, you know, piano growing up and played some guitar, that it's actually helped your writing and helped just the more melodic end of you come out versus just being a bass player?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, usually when I write stuff, I usually sit down at the piano and kind of write some chord changes or a melodic thing first, and then, I mean, occasionally you write something that comes out of a bass line first, but usually it's at the piano, coming up with, you know, some sort of motif or chord progression.
Right, that's awesome. Well, it's cool. You know, I've known you for many, many years, and I've seen you come up. You know, thank you, man. You too, and see you through the ranks. And it was great to hear you guys last night and to see your growth. I mean, I know that sounds weird. I feel like an old guy, but it's not that. It's
well,
you know, yeah, right. Well, thanks, Sandy. It's awesome. Yes, well, you know. But no, man, it's like every time I hear you, you get better, and that's really cool because a lot of musicians don't get better, and I know that sounds kind of weird. They hit a plateau and finally they get stuck. You don't get stuck. I hear you evolving on the acoustic bass, on the electric bass, in the writing, in the vibe, and it's really neat to see because I've been there. I know what it's like to get stuck and you feel like you hit a wall and you just can't seem to get out of your world. So it's nice when you see people from the outside, especially somebody who plays an instrument that you play, you relate to it, and it's neat to see you because every time I hear you, I hear growth. I see you evolving, and it's really neat to see. And I'm happy. You know, I'm happy to see that because I know how rewarding it is when you are in a place where that happens, and it's just cool.
I think there's always room to grow. You know, always trying to learn new things, or
Never
just
stop.
playing with new people in different situations. You learn new stuff.
Well, interesting enough, I don't know anybody in your band, and I was like thinking, well, maybe Doug Webb's going to be here, or one or some of the friends. And it's like it's like, wow, I don't know any of these guys.
No,
Everybody
they're
sounded
all
great.
New York guys. Actually, some of them I've worked with in different groups over the years. So some I played actually here with years ago, and then some of them just in the last few years. But they're all New York guys.
That's great. And so now, where are you living in New York now? Or are you living?
No, I'm in Paris most of the time.
Okay, most of the time.
But I'm kind of bouncing around.
I can tell by your accent that you live in Paris. Which is great.
Yes, sir. No, I'm there for about the last 4 or 5 years. I've been there quite a bit.
Are you playing a lot over there?
Quite a bit, yeah.
New Morning, is it still there?
New Morning, still, yeah. A couple times a year I usually play there.
Awesome.
And then I'm in the UK quite a bit as well.
That's great.
And is that influencing some of the music when you go a little bit more chill, new jazz, or lounge?
I think, there's a lot of great musicians over there, and there's great musicians in Paris and in London both that I work with. So, yeah, there's like people like Manu Katché and Eric Bonini that they play jazz, but then they produce pop records and hip hop stuff, and they're into like lots of different kinds of music, the same as me. So.
And that totally works for you to be an alternate.
It does,
vehicle.
yeah. I like playing with people that are into the same kind of stuff.
That's so cool.
Well,
yeah.
that's one of the things about you that I really like so much is that you are not one-dimensional, and you like a lot of different vibes and a lot of different styles, and I think it's so important. Especially jazz musicians get so sometimes hung up in X, the tradition, or whatever, which is great. Look, I love it. It's my life. But on the flip side, man, this is almost 2011. You have to grow,
exactly.
and there's so much music in this world, and so many different styles and vibes to learn from. And the one thing that you've always done that, though, you've always recorded a lot of different styles and vibes.
Are you in the
I
studio?
think it's very cool.
Right now?
He's standing under a tree right now.
At the moment, I realize.
We just recorded a new album just a few weeks ago, actually, down in France, actually. So probably won't be out until February, March next year. So
Like anything you've done in the past, anything we can relate it to?
We actually did it mostly live. It's just we just went we went to a friend's chateau down in Bordeaux in the wine country, and they just brought some gear down there and recorded it in this living room.
Wow.
So we recorded it just over 3.5, 4 days down there.
Upright and
Had a little, both, yeah. Actually, probably a little more upright. But yeah, both. And it's kind of been my regular working band in Europe.
Do you release it independently, or are you shopping?
It's on Candid, which is London-based now, and I think Mac Avenue.
So you'll be his label.
We're label mates.
And we'll feature it for
Awesome.
sure. We play a lot of Candy. Yeah, cool. Well, thanks so much, Kyle.
Thank you.
Always great to see you. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, man. Really nice to hear you. Good to see you again.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for your time. Catch up soon, huh? Okay, check out Kyle's website, kyleeastwood.com.
KyleEastwood.com.
Okay, and this interview is on smoothjazz.com and smoothlounge.com. Thanks.